Alrighty. Well, I personally I wasn't expecting a response this quickly from Glitch, but yeah. I guess I'm just gonna go through it and probably just give my thoughts on what it's like. So, starting with the first part, they're talking about it's like, hey, has the entire how the entire industry views indie animation. Yeah, it definitely does lead the ability for a lot of indie shows to be able to reach a wider audience, and be a little bit more central in it has the ability to be more central in just general pop culture, right? Is like it definitely Glitch is probably the best people for this job because they're not selling out to a different company or making a series that only a specific group of people would want to watch. It's definitely a huge step, and it's very impressive that they've managed to reach this point where they're producing shows that are getting shown in places the same likes of the Avengers, and that's a huge achievement. Obviously, for all my criticisms of last time, it is immensely impressive that a show like The Amazing Digital Circus, which started on YouTube 2 years ago, is able to reach people in theaters now. That is unheard of. That is something that's never happened before. The closest we've gotten to that was Markiplier and Iron Lung. They're saying, hey, it's like the film industry's never done something like this before, right? So I would not doubt that it's very hard to get those ornery, old-fashioned film industry people to be like, oh, an animation that's not by Disney or Pixar or DreamWorks? Ooh, that's kind of weird, dude. That's not a company I've heard of. Who are you, Glitch? Isn't that something computers do? So it is insane that they've managed to get, into theaters. Now, the craziest thing that I heard, because if we're being honest, most of us who are talking about this aren't experts on the film industry, right? We don't really understand how it works for the most part. So we were under the impression that the 2-week thing was something that Glitch decided. Apparently, theaters were asking for a month in between the showing in theaters and the showing in YouTube. A month. I would like to thank Kevin for the fact that he was willing to fight as hard as he did to get it down to 2 weeks. He managed to get theaters with their tight-fisted, money-hungry hands to half the amount of the amount of time that they between the theater and the YouTube release. He has managed to, at the very least, make it a lot easier than it could have been. Obviously, it's not ideal for everyone. He acknowledges that himself, but they're doing their best. It sounds like what they're doing is they are taking as much time as possible to get as many theaters to get a showing, because I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be surprised if every theater that's showing it is already sold out. I wouldn't be surprised if some people are willing to travel to watch it in theaters early. But, obviously, not everyone's going to be able to see it in theaters. And not everyone who bought tickets is still going to be able to go when the time comes around, because that's still 2 months away. A lot can change in 2 months. But yeah. Looks like they're really pushing hard to get it in Australia, so good news for you Australian people. Um, you're more likely than not, given how much support and how many emails people have been writing, you guys are probably actually going to end up being able to see it in theaters too. It's not going to be landlocked to the mainland US, Latin America, and a little bit of Europe, I think. I guess the thing I'm going to go over next is basically what I'm going to ask of people. I know, I'm not a huge YouTuber, I don't really exactly want to be, like, influencing people's minds, but, just don't spoil it, alright? It's very simple. You can take so few steps, in fact. Do you know what the steps are? The steps are, shut the fuck up, and then step 2 is keep shutting the fuck up. I know. It's hard to do. I have a hard time, shutting the fuck up, but I actually, have the social awareness sometimes to be able to pay attention to things and understand, if I don't shut the fuck up about this certain thing, people are gonna stone me to death in the streets like I'm some sort of Aztec ruler. This is a little shorter recording because I don't really want to spend too much time in here this early in the morning. It's like 8 a.m. for me right now. I just woke up, if that's not obvious from my voice. Guess what I'm trying to say, people, is remember at the end of the day that this is something that we all love, alright? Doesn't matter how much of a toxic fan you are. Doesn't matter how much, you're a funny bunny shipper or a Jester doll shipper or blah 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 blah. Right? At the end of the day, we all love this show, alright? We should all be able to experience it in the way that we want to. Just watching it on your own, in your room, or in theaters. People should be able to experience this how they want. Alright? You don't have the right to be able to not let people experience the show that they want to. Alright? It's... As much as, like, I would disagree with somebody who, would be like, oh, this should always be in theaters. It should only be in theaters, right? And I'm sure there's at least one person like that, right? Glitch has millions of fans. I'm sure there's some people who want episode 9 to be in theaters only so that they can gloat about it and be like, ooh, I got to see episode 9. Haha. Go fuck yourself. As much as I'm sure there's people like that, it's just not, right? It's pretty simple. Let people experience the show the way they want to, without spoilers. Because you have all the time. Think about this, alright? Once that 2 weeks is up, you have literally until the end of your life to talk about episode 9 with everyone. You can wait 2 weeks, alright, to talk about the show. Do you know how long? 2 weeks, think about it, right? It's as simple as finding something else to do for 2 weeks, right? The show ended, for Christ's sake, right? You should probably figure out a new hobby other than hyper-fixating on TADC. I know I'm gonna have to find something else to look forward to. I might, rewatch Murder Drones, because I've only seen that once. And I binged that in an entire night in the span of, 12 to 4 a.m. I might rewatch Murder Drones. I might become a little more of a Murder Drones fan. I might find a new indie show. I might start getting hyped for Gameaverse, or my Knights of Guinevere. But 2 weeks... Let me put this in perspective, right? 2 weeks to wait to talk about something is a lot less... It's going to feel like a lot less harder of a time than having to wait 2 weeks going spoiler-free. I know that I'm not going to be able to change a whole lot by making this video and then having a few minute long segment of, hey, don't spoil it for other people, guys. Because, I'm a YouTuber with less than 1,000 subscribers and I average 80-ish views. But it's pretty simple, alright? Just don't spoil it for people. Doesn't make you look cool. No one thinks you're cool for it. Everyone just thinks you're a dickhead who wasn't loved enough by their parents or something. Yeah, guess that's it, get to see me in person again. Hi. Yeah, I think that's about it. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna, go edit this, and then get ready for a day of fun activities. Yeah. Hope you guys all have like a nice day, and have something fun to look forward to after episode 9 ends. Yeah. See ya.